There's a new tool in LeadProsper, the Response Parser. Using this tool, you can easily parse your buyer's API responses to extract the information that they require. With the Response Parser, when you copy and paste an accepted ping or post response from your API specs into the left-hand side of the tool, it will automatically parse the response into the information that you need to enter into your buyer setup. If you click on the parsed response on the right-hand side of the tool, you'll see the information in a format that matches exactly what you'll see in the buyer setup of your campaign. Now let's cover some specific examples of how to use the Response Parser. In this section, we'll cover how to use the Response Parser to set up response mapping based on an example response from sample API specs. In this example, our ping post buyer is already built out except for the response mapping. To open the Response Parser, click on the link at the top of the response mapping section. Then, open your API specs and find the ping response section. Copy the accepted response section and paste it into the left-hand side of the Response Parser. Repeat the same step for the post response, pasting the information into the post section of the Response Parser. You can then click on Success on the right side of the parser, which will bring up a window with the information that needs to be added to the response mapping section of the buyer setup. You can see here that the response type will be XML, the condition needs to be key equal with, the key will be /response/result, and the value will be success. Copy and paste this information into your buyer setup. If the buyer system returns the real-time price, you can choose to have LeadProsper track it when storing analytics. Toggle the real-time price option to on in your buyer setup. To get the price key needed here, look back at the Response Parser. Click on the value nested under price on the right-hand side of the parser. The window will then show you the price key for the real-time price or send post if rules, which in this case is /response/price. Copy and paste this into your buyer setup in the real-time price section. Repeat the process for the post setup. As you can see, the condition, key, and value for an accepted post will be the same as the ping. The response for a duplicated lead is now automatically filled out for you, but can be changed to suit your needs if the default is not good enough. When working with ping post buyers, you will often be required to include an ID in the post that was contained within the initial ping response. To extract this value from the ping, go to the ping section of the Response Parser and click on Ping ID on the right-hand side. This will bring up the selection preview. Here you'll see the buyer response keys. The shortcode needed to grab the ping ID is under the Use in Post configuration section. Copy and paste this LP ping response shortcode into the post payload builder in your buyer setup. Save your buyer, then test to make sure your ping ID was sent in the post. You can do this for any field that you need to extract from the ping in the post. When you click on the field that you want to extract on the right-hand side of the parser, you will see the two sections in the pop-up window titled Use in Ping Response Mapping and Use in Post Response Mapping. Be sure to copy and paste them into their corresponding sections in the buyer setup. Once a test response is sent, you might see a section that outlines possible errors that were detected while testing. While some need to be fixed, others might just be informational. For example, test leads can still be accepted by the buyer, but the system will alert you that the lead contains possible test parameters. You'll remove the test parameters later after making sure there are no errors in the ping or the post and before taking your campaign live. You can see here that the errors are an invalid shortcode in the ping, an incorrect real-time price configuration, and a wrong or invalid ping ID. First, to fix the invalid shortcode in the ping, click back to your ping configuration in your buyer setup. The error response told us that the zip code shortcode was invalid. If you look above the payload builder, you see that the campaign shortcode for zip code is zip_code, and it was entered as just zip in the payload builder. Copy and paste the shortcode from above the payload builder into the payload. Our next error was that the price could not be extracted based on the real-time response mapping. If you click on price in the response parser, you can see that /response/price needs to be in the real-time price section instead of the word success. Finally, if you scroll down to the post body of the rejected lead, you will see that the final error is due to a wrong or expired ping ID. Click back to the Response Parser and click on Ping ID on the right side. This will bring up a window with the buyer response keys. Here, you'll copy the Ping ID shortcode under the Use in Post configuration section. If you click back over to the post configuration, you can see that it was not correctly entered in the post payload builder initially. Paste in the correct Ping ID shortcode into the payload builder, click Save, then retest your buyer. As you can see, the lead was accepted, and we've still been alerted about the test parameters in the body. That's it for the new Response Parser in LeadProsper. As always, if you have any questions, please use the support button or send us an email at support@leadprosper.io.